WP-Get Web Dev Tutorials for all user levels. Hey guys, just another quick bricks builder newbie quirk that I've discovered. Just playing around with setting up some default styles and templates. And what I noticed is some of the elements, when you add them to page, they've got some default settings which I wasn't aware of. For example, with a button, if I get a button and I drag that to my editor, I've got a basic button here. I'm just going to zoom in a bit on that. So I've got a basic button in there. If I go into my theme settings and go into my button, so I'll just clear that. And on my default styles, if I go into my borders, let's have a nice huge 5 pixel border, solid, and we'll make it red. Okay, so what I'm noticing is nothing's happening with my button. And the reason I found for that is when you add the button to the page, by default, it sets the style to primary. If I remove that, then the default styling that I put on there works. But if I put that back to primary, go back to my theme and into my button. So by default, this is not applied because when I add the button, it uses the primary. So if I go to the primary and change that to say 5px, whoops, solid and red, 5 pixels pxx. So now I've got 5px solid red, and that's added to my button because the button's got the primary state. So the theme settings have a nice little setting where you've got your default primary state. You can select a secondary button type, a light button type, dark button type, small, medium, large. You can actually set some properties for that. What tripped me up was the fact that it automatically selected the primary, not the default. So that's just a little trick, something to look out for. It's done this with a few other elements that I've dragged to the page where it's actually set some defaults, which then didn't make sense with the theme settings. But once you understood and saw where it added those settings, it then you then can work with it. So thank you for listening.